Chapter 5 is officially here, and because of that, I have the best controller settings to help you win your games in the new season. These settings will help reduce input delay, give you the best performance, and provide you with the best set of settings in order to actually reach your desired skill level in Fortnite. Before we begin, make sure to drop a like on this video, and let's go hop into these settings. So starting off with the video settings, for console players, you should be enabling 120Hz mode if you have a 120Hz monitor and disabled motion blur. These settings should help with your input delay on console. Now if you are on PC, then make sure to copy these settings. For the window mode, it should be on full screen. Your resolution should be your native resolution. Make sure to disable VSync. Set your frame rate limit to one setting above your monitor's refresh rate. So if you have a 144Hz monitor, then set your frame rate limit to 160. Then if you have a 60Hz monitor, then set your frame rate limit to 120 FPS. Make sure to have performance mode or lower graphical fidelity for maximum FPS. The brightness should stay at 100%, but if you can't see the game well or if you feel that it's too bright, then you may change it. I don't think there's a good colorblind mode setting for this season, but if you have a preference, then feel free to make changes. For the graphics quality, assuming that you've restarted Fortnite, you should have 3D resolution on 100%, finite virtualized geometry on off, view distance on near, textures on low, and meshes on low. These settings should give you the maximum FPS you can get off of just the Fortnite settings. Now obviously make sure FPS is enabled so you can check how much FPS you're getting and monitor your performance. The audio settings are all up to personal preference, except maybe turning your sound quality too low. It has an impact on your FPS, a very small one though. However, the only sound it changes anyway is the sound of the pump shotgun, so just turn it off. It's essentially a free FPS boost for little to no changes. For the game settings, I have a bunch of recommendations. Obviously, your matchmaking region is the region closest to you. For movement, I recommend toggle sprint enabled for your tactical sprint, auto open doors enabled, mantle activation on hold jump, hurdle activation on press jump, hold to swap pickup on, toggle targeting off, mark danger when targeting on, auto pickup weapons on off, and for the preferred item slots, this is up to personal preference. If you want to have a specific weapon always on one slot on your inventory, then feel free to enable this, but most of the time I won't recommend this, so just make sure it's off. I have auto sort consumables to the right enabled, but you can disable this if you'd like. I just enable it to make sure I don't drop my shotgun for absolutely no reason. For the building, I recommend reset building choice on, but it doesn't really matter since you're probably going to be on Builder Pro anyway. I don't really see a difference when it comes to input delay when editing, but I'd keep it on if I were you. Obviously, turbo building is a must if you want to build fast. Now for the confirm edit on release or auto confirm edits, I know you've seen that in most of my videos I always recommend this setting to be on both. However, if you're already playing on auto confirm edits on off, then don't switch. I just recommend auto confirm edits on both in general for speed and for players who are new to the game. Highly recommend auto confirm edits on both. The rest of these settings are up to personal preference, but just make sure to disable all of the replays, since if you have it enabled, then it's essentially just recording your screen, which is really bad for your FPS, so make sure it's off to remove any FPS issues whatsoever. For the game user interface, I highly recommend copying my settings. However, if I were to recommend anything different, then it's 100% the HUD scale. I would set this to maybe 80%, but if you want to copy 65%, which I feel is the most balanced, then go for it. We're gonna skip gyro options because I do not recommend gyro aiming to anyone who plays on controller. This is a setting that Epic added and I honestly thought it was gonna be good. However, it's pretty bad and no one should ever try this setting. For the mouse and keyboard settings, in order to find your sensitivity, I recommend messing around with the X and Y sensitivities. Move your mouse from one side of the mouse pad to the other end, and if you are able to do one full 360 rotation, you know that you have the best sensitivity for your situation. This strategy is one of the best ways to find your sensitivity in Fortnite, and I can also say the same for other shooter games as well. For the targeting and scope sensitivities, I would play around those numbers as well. The same goes for the building and editing sensitivity, depending on how fast or slow you want your external sensitivities to be. For keyboard movement, your custom diagonal should be enabled, and make sure your forward diagonal is 65, your strafe angle on 90, and backward diagonal on 135. This is by far the best diagonal settings so that you have full control of your movement. For the binds, I recommend copying my binds. However, if you don't have mouse side buttons, then feel free to change it. If you guys do want to copy my settings, then you can pause the video. I'll scroll down slowly so you guys can copy properly. For the controller sensitivity, I actually have a good set to recommend. Make sure to enable controller auto run, build immediately Builder Pro on off, edit hold time at the lowest, Slide hold time on default or 0.15. For the quick weapons section, I'm not really sure how this works yet, so I can't give a recommendation, but I would say just keep it to default or standard. For the sensitivity, make sure to enable advanced options for a more customizable experience. Set your build mode and edit mode sensitivity multipliers on 2. Look horizontal speed and look vertical speed on 42%. Make sure all the boosts are turned off because you should have linear instead of exponential. Set your ADS look horizontal and vertical speeds on 10%. Set your ADS turning boost ramp time on 0.20 seconds, and always make sure to have your aim assist strength on 100%. For the dead zones, this depends on the quality of your controller. If you're experiencing stick drift or you own a relatively old controller, it's definitely worth cranking this up a little bit. However, in most cases, you should probably have it on 10 or 11%. For the controller binds option, I've already made an in-depth video for this on non-claw/non-paddle. I'll post more in-depth tutorials regarding binds, but for now, you can watch the video that I linked in the description. However, if you play on claw or double claw, then feel free to copy my binds right now. Before I finish off the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the year ends, and your subscription would mean the world to me. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.